Erodo Jumbo, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create audio animations using Python. Before I begin, quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. So you visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, then the live sub menu, then you can see, for example, this live stream that I'm doing live right now is called Generate Blender Cube Animation using Python. It tells you the channel it's going to be on and the date and time. And you can see these other ones are post-dated for the future. Also, each of those articles, there will be a little snippet beginning of each article. It will tell you when, the day of the live stream, the time, and it's always going to be Eastern time. You're free to ask questions in a live chat about programming related topics. For example, for this live stream, you click on this channel, it will take you to a specific one. You can log in and you can ask your questions there or comments. Also, if you don't want to do that, you can watch the embedded video. It's just lower. You just scroll down into the article. You'll see it there. I'll show it to you in a second. So as you can see here, what I did was when I created this cube animation, it's all controlled by the audio. I'll show you how to do that in Blender. And what I did was I also exported it as I used FFmpeg to export it and converted it into AVF animation. That's what you're seeing right now. Obviously, the AVF animation doesn't have audio, but I'll also export an audio version. So I made it very simple. It's just a cube. As you can see, the cube shrinks and it also expands. And that's all controlled by audio. So what is Blender? Blender is a 3D creation software tool. It's written in C++ and Python. The majority of the plugins are Python. And it's also cross-platform. That's for POS or POS systems. That's like Mac OS, BSDs, Unix, Linux type systems, and Windows. Funny enough, there's actually been some people who tried to port Blender onto mobile devices like Android. So I don't know. I haven't kept up with that project or the projects. I'm not sure how that is, but I do know that for desktop operating system, it does work. So the focus of this tutorial is we're going to use the Blender Python API to create a custom script that generates a cube audio animation. So obviously, we're going to need to use the graph editor for the audio to control the keyframe animation. So what that means is that whether it shrinks or goes up, it will be based on the base of the audio file. So this is the process. Basically, we'll use the default cube object. We're going to add a bloom effect with using composting nodes. I'll show you how to do this now. In the latest version of Blender that we're going to use today is 4.4 series. That one doesn't have the easy blend bloom effect, so we need to use composting node to add it. I'll show you how to do that. Won't be a problem. Then we're going to tweak the material shading using by default, which is the principled BSDF. We're going to animate the object using scale and keyframes. Then we'll switch to the graph editor and we'll use the sound to samples to select the audio file. And if the audio is desired, then it can be added also to the VSE. So for example, like when I exported the animation I showed you there, obviously the audio is going to be lost because the AVF animations don't have audio. But if you do want the audio, you would add it into the VSE yourself, and then that way you can render out the animation and you'll have the audio as well. And we're also going to create the blend file. So we're going to do all this with Python. And so your requirements for this tutorial, you just need some type of text editor. I have done reviews of some IDEs. I did Guinea, and then I also did a recent one with NetBeans IDE. I'm going to redo the Guinea IDE. It's going to be coming pretty soon. I don't know if it will be this month, but it will be soon because the one from last year had some audio issues. So I'll redo it. And obviously, if you're going to do this on a remote server or you need some secure, I recommend a secure shell client. I use OpenSSH, but there's different type of clients for SSH. And shell access, this just means the command line. That's how we'll be running our scripts. But you can also run the scripts in Python. I'll show you in Blender. I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so these are just overviews of the Blender, the scripting workspace, and the video editing workspace. I'll show you that's in Blender. And this is the code snippet. If you wanna just get the code snippet to follow along, if you make a mistake, you just click expand and you get it. So this is what will happen when we see when you start the blend file. There's always the default cube, and then in the scripting tab you can paste the script there, and it will do the same thing. And basically, as I said, if you want the audio file, also add it to the VSC. That way, when you render, the audio will also be there. And this is the embedded video which I promised for the live stream. So, for example, if I click this, we can paste the. It's actually live. It's actually this live stream. Okay, so Blender can be installed. You can download Blender from the Blender project, or this is blender.org. You can see the latest version is 4.4. This is the version I'm going to be using. My processor should work with probably Blender 3.3 and above. And obviously Python. Python is licensed under the Python Software Foundation license, which is a permissive license. Blender is licensed under the GNU General Public License version 2 or later, which is a copyleft license. Both are open source. They allow commercial use, modification, distribution, making derivatives proprietary. Consult the license for more specific details. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's actually get started. So what I did was I created a folder here, and you see in my test, you see I rendered out just a few bitmap images. You can see this is the default cube. You see it shrinks down here, and then when it expands. And of course, what we're going to do is, this is the final video. So I can play it now. You see what will happen. Brought to you by ojamboservices.com for all your programming needs, including custom tutorials. Okay, so as you saw, I just played that video. That was the output of the file that we created. So we're going to create. I see here it's cubeaudio.py for the file. So I'm gonna delete this one and create my own. So I'll open this up in a text. I'm going to open this up in a text editor. Actually, maybe I should use Nano. Let me see. Oh, I can actually. You know what? I'm not sure if I've. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll open this up in a text editor. So let's just open this up in a text editor, and I think I can. Yes, I can. Perfect. So I'll delete everything in here, and we will start from scratch. So let me make sure everything is fine here. Hopefully I don't make any mistakes. Yeah, okay, so I'll delete everything here. Again, I hope I don't. But you know what? Just in case I make a mistake, let me just rename this one. I'll rename this one to 2. And okay, delete this one. So this file is completely empty. I'm going to save it. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import the Blender Python API. So you just import BPY. Then we're going to grab that default cube. So cube equals the Python object, whatever, the Blender Python object, data dot objects cube. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm assuming there will always be a cube. Obviously, if your if you really want to get into programming, what you should actually do is just delete everything, and then loop. I've done this before. Just delete everything and then add your own cube object. So that will be more future proof, just in case. Maybe in the future, you never know. Blender might decide, you know what, maybe we'll just start without the default cube. Composing workspace. So just get the Python context window.workspace equals Python data workspace compositing. There we go. Grab the scene equals context scene dot use nodes equals true and composer node tree scene dot node tree. I want to let you know that when you're actually working in the scripting workspace, you might be confused why you have to do what I'm doing here. The reason is that when you open up the blend file, most of these things like the use nodes, they're already set to true, and this composer node, you don't need to do this. However, when you're running it on the command line, it's as if the blend file is empty. The only thing it will have is the default cube. So yeah, it's a little bit, and then the documentation doesn't explain this. It takes, you might pull out your hair wondering why it's not working, and that's why. Okay, so I'm going to copy this here. So I'm going to grab the render layers node. And the name is kind of weird too, because it's a camel case, and this render layers is just like R. Yeah, so the naming convention is also a little bit weird, but that's how you grab it. Then we're gonna also create the glare node. And then after that, you don't need to do this part here, but I like to change the position. This way I can I can view it when I open up the blend file. And this is it. So this is how you enable bloom. So that glare node, you change the glare type to bloom. Then we have the composite node. So node composite there. And then I also change its position. You don't need to do this, but I like to check the position, because this way you can check when you end up the blend file, when you open the blend file. So you take the image of the composite file and you put it into the input of the glare node. And then you take the output of the image of the glare node into the composite of the composite node input. So we're done there. Now let's go do the material shading. So here I'll just get the material data py data materials new, give it a name, diffuse. Okay, then material dot use nodes, you set this to true, and material dot node tree dot nodes dot get. So Prince, okay, I'm probably going to spell this wrong, so I'll just copy this. So the principal BSDF inputs metallic. We set the default value to 8.555. You can set, as long as you set this value to just above probably 0.5, it should be okay. The reason you need to do this because with the EV renderer, it still doesn't, it's much better than before, but you won't be able to see your object properly. So this is why you need to add this material shading. Otherwise, you won't see it at all. Like when you render things out, you will just render up the gray cube, and yeah, it just be a gray cube. So it won't show. For example, like how I showed you these images here. This one's here. You see how it's like different sizes. If you just render out without doing this, changing the metallic value, what will happen is it will just be like this. It'll just be like you won't be able to see this, any animation at all. So this is why you need, this is mandatory, at least for now, in at the time of this recording of this video with the latest Blender version. So then next we need to do the animations. So first thing I'll do, I'll change the workspace to layout. And then what I'll do, I'll change the scene. Text scene. Okay, then the start frame, I'll set it to 1. And so cube dot keyframe. We'll grab the cube right in the beginning. So insert. We're gonna use scale. Then frame equals start. I could have hard coded this, but the reason I'm using variables is because I'll show you in a future tutorial. I think I actually did one of the first Blender Python tutorials. Is that you can, for example, use a JSON file, or maybe just put some input. So the Python file will load the inputs, and then it will automatically fill these variables. So that's why I'm doing this. But I said I could easily have hard coded it. Okay, so that's the start frame. Then I'm going to do a cube scale. So I believe it's, I don't quote me, I think it's X, Y, and Z. Yeah, Z or Z. So as you can see here, it will scale on the Z axis half the size from, usually it's 1, 1, 1. It will scale to 0.5. And this is what you're going to see here. You see this guy here, it's half the size of the original. Then what else? So I'll pick a mid frame. I'll set it to 105. So cube dot keyframe insert. Again, we're going to do a scale. So if a frame equals mid frame, and then we're going to scale it again, and this time again we're going to scale it on the Z axis or Z axis. So you see 2. Now it's going to be double the size of before. You see I shrunk it to half size. Now it's going to be double the size. So I'll put last frame. I'll set that to 210, sorry. And then I say cube dot keyframe insert. Again, the type we're doing is a scale. Say frame equals last frame. Okay, save that. Now, we want to bake the sound to the F curve. To F curve. So this is what is going to control the. This is what will control the animations. Like for example, although it goes from 1 to 2, 210 frames, the what's going to control it is actually going to be our audio. So unfortunately, there's no way I can simply just grab go to the graph editor and do it. So I have to use a loop. So I'll explain. So I'll use a for loop through all the screen areas. So when the type is timeline, I'll change it to the graph editor. Make sure I select the cube, selected. And then what I do, I use the graph sound to samples file. That's our audio file. And I just break to finish it. Okay, next, this is the bonus part. We want to add the sound strip to the VSE. So this way, when we render, it will be the audio will also be there in the background. So I'll just say sound strip equals. I'll just copy this so I don't make a mistake. Okay. So I just give it a name. So I gave it a name. I called it first sound strip. The file path is cube audio or I'm using an opus file. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to talk about licenses in a future tutorial and why I actually use open source licenses for all my work, and I'll explain that in a second in a future tutorial. So the channel, the first channel, and the frame start is 1. Now, if this, for example, remember I have 210 frames. So if this audio is actually bigger than that, it won't matter, because when it's rendered out, it only render out up to where I set the I set the timeline, the last frame, and I'll show you how to do that. That will be in the render settings. So render settings. Oh, too much time has passed here. So I'm just going to copy this part here because it's already been 20 minutes, and I'll just go through it very quickly here. Actually, I might have to zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so that's a little bit better. There we go. So this one, I check the world, and the background, I set the background to this color here, which is basically black without an alpha. And remember, we're using Eevee, or the default render engine. So I'm going to change the samples to 16. I think default is 64. That's too much for mine is a very simple object. And I change the film transparency to true. The resolution is 1920 by 1080. And then I also I set the resolution percentage to 100. The FPS I set it to 30. And the frame end is 210, the same as our animation. And this will do the same thing for our VSE. And then the output file will be video, cube audio. And then our render settings, I use FFmpeg. It's going to be MP4. Codec will be H.264, and the audio codec should be AAC. And a constant rate factor I set to medium, and the render preset is real time. So then this will also render the animation, and then to save the file called cubeaudio.blend. So now with that, I'm gonna run it. Actually, maybe okay. So to run this, you just open up the command line, and you type. Let me clean this out for you. Clean and clear here, or zoom in here so you can see. Or is this not zooming in? Okay, there we go. So all you do is you type blend -b for background, capital P, that means the Python file, so it's cube audio.py. So if I run this, it will actually run this, and it will create this file, cube audio.blend. So you know what, let me rename this one, and I'll run this, I'll call this one 2. And then, so I'm going to run this. And you see I've run it. You see it's using Blender 4.4, but oh, I made a mistake on line 7 it says. So let's go and fix that. Where's the cube audio? Open up with the text editor again. So it says there was a problem on line 7. So let's go up to line 7. Let's see here. It says BY data. I think it's workspaces. Let me just double check on that. Yeah, workspaces. I put workspace. It's actually workspaces. So let's go fix that. So this should be workspaces. Try again to run again. Now on line 35, I made another mistake. Here, the cube scale. Line 35. Cube.scale, it doesn't understand what that is. That seems okay. Oh, okay, I think it's okay. 35, 112. Let me think here. Frame. That is weird. That seems... Thirty-five. Vector object is not callable. Oh, I forgot to put equals. Oops, that's why. Equals. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's running. You see it's actually rendering the it's rendering it out. So I'll let that run, and I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna, because this is gonna take a while. You can see it's right now it's only on frame number 9, so it's gonna take a while because that's 210. So while that's running, I'll open up this blend audio. Which one was it? 2. Where is it? This one here. Oops, no, this one here. I'm gonna open it up in Blender, and to show you. Did I double click? What is going on? Why is that not opening? Okay, maybe I'll right click on it. Open with Blender. Oh, it looks like it says Blender crashed. Okay, it's not up. I might have to wait. Not sure why. Open with Blender. Come on. Okay, let me see if I can just open up Blender by itself. I wonder if I think maybe OBS is taking up so much memory. Okay, it looks like it crashed again, so I'll probably have to wait. Yeah, it looks like it crashed again. Wow, it crashed a few times here. All right, so I think I have to wait until this finishes. So that's okay. I'll wait for this one to finish it. So it's basically about 110 to go. But basically, as I said, what will happen is when it finishes, it will actually render, which is actually doing it. What it will do is it will actually output our, what is it? It will create a, what do you call it? It will create a blend file, and it also output, as you can see, it's going to output this video audio. You see it's 210 because 210 frames. It would output this for us. So the audio, I've already played it before, and this is the audio that actually controls the animation. So once this finishes, I'll show you. I'll open up in Blender and I'll show you everything. So we have about 60-ish frames to go. What else can I do here? So actually, yeah, let me show you the this one's here. So this is the default cube, and then this is half the size of the default cube, and this is the twice the size. So if you can notice, this would be a cube, so it's twice the size of the cube there. And this is the audio I'm using. I just took a snippet of the, I guess my closing statement. I just took that, and you'll see it. So I have to wait for this to finish up here. So Python file's fine. Yeah, I think because I'm running OBS, it's I guess there's not enough GPU or something to run Blender because it's crashing. So just have to wait for this to finish. It's almost done. It's about 20. Yeah, there's only 20 frames more to go because it's, remember, I set the frame to 210. So just hold up for a second and it'll be done. Almost done. 10 frames to go. So we can wait. While that's going, as I said, I'll repeat the reason I'm using the Opus. Okay, so it's done. You see when it finishes, it's saved. You see it saved this cube audio.blend file, and that's the file I want to open. So we don't need the command line anymore. We'll finish that up. I do want to open up the cube audio. Yeah, so this open with Blender. Yeah, so Blender is open now. And you see what happens. So it uses the default cube. And you see what down here, it you see this because these are the animations. So if I make this a little bit bigger, watch what happens. So I'm just gonna use the mouse. You see what happens? Look at the cube. You see it's getting smaller, gets smaller, 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 and this is 105. Remember we did that in the Python script. So it goes. So basically it starts at full size 111. Then it shrinks on the y-axis to half size. And then after that, you see it goes back around here to about full size again. Then it keeps on going. And then at 210 frames, you see it's now double the size. And you can see what happens here. This is because those are the frames. And one thing we did as well is if we click here and we go to the graph editor, you can see this is the graph here. And then if we go to, I think it was channel, you see here you have sound to samples. So this is the one we use, sound to samples. So this is the one that's the F curve. And so we baked the sound. That's how you bake the sound. And that's how you do it. So we go back here. I think it was timeline. Yeah, timeline. So we can, so you see that's working. If you don't, and remember, we also did the bloom, so that was under shading, I believe it was. So in shading, you see we also have the metallic. Is it metallic? Which one did we change here? I know we changed something here. Oh, set it to 0. Okay. Oh, the roughness. Well, we set one of these ones as well, and the BSD. Material shading, we did change this as well. And then the other thing we did is I think we went to compositing. Yeah, we went to compositing here, and you see we had the render layers, and we had the I don't know why there's two of them, but we can see the glare. We set this to glare. You see bloom. We set the bloom, and then we output it here as well. All right, so what else was there we did? I think that, oh yeah, we also went to the video editing. So I click the plus here, we go to the video editing, and you see we added also the sound, we also added the sound strip to the VSE. Now you can see here, as I was saying, the sound strip is actually longer than the, the timeline. The timeline is cut to 210 frames. This one is 227 frames. But it doesn't matter when you render it out. Only rendered out 210, not the entire audio. So that's the other thing that we did, all with the Python script. And of course, as I said, you can also go to the scripting tab here, and you can paste your the code in here. But I'm saying that doesn't make a difference. Why would you paste it here when this is supposed to be automated? Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you in Blender. And of course, I already played the output, or I'll play the output again. So this is the video, you see cue the audio. So let's play it. Brought to you by ojamboservices.com for all your programming needs, including custom tutorials. See, that was so if you don't believe me, we can actually right click this, go to properties, and we go to, you see here, it's 7 seconds, that's 210, 30 times 7 is 210. You see it's a H.264, it's 30 frames per second, it's an MPEG-4, and the audio and all that as well. So that's it. And of course, you can also, how I generated these images, I'll show that to you. Open up the blend file again. Where's the blend file? Okay, here's the blend file. So I'll show you. So what I did was, for example, here, you just go to render, you click render image, and then I changed, in order to save this, I changed it to, you go to save, or save as, and then you see here, it says RGB or file format. So you change the file format. I chose WebP and I chose RGBA, and that's how I saved that image. And then I just went somewhere, like I can go to half. You see when it's half here, you do the same thing. You go to render, render image. I think the image is in the background. Yeah, here it is. Here's a render image. And then again, you go to image, save as. Again, you choose the file you want, which is WebP, of course, RGBA, and then you hit save again. And one more time, you go, let me close this. You go to the end frame. Let's go all the way to the end here. You see when it's double the size, again, you go to render, render image, and then you go to image, then you go save as, file format, WebP, RGBA, and you hit save. So that's how I rendered out. Now you can see it's transparent like this. Now you don't see all of it because it's obviously it's full size. So if you just zoom, or if you put it in a bigger screen, oh, here is this a zoom? I can't see. Oh, there we go. So that's, you see the zoom down. Now you can see the entire. You can all see all of it. So that's what I wanted to. Oh, to get the world settings, I think they're. Material. Where is it? Oh, here's the world. You see the world here. I changed the color to black. The default color is not black. I changed it to black. So that's how I did that as well. So you remember I set it to 0001. So alpha is 1. That means there's no transparency. Okay, so that's how we did that. Now we can finish this up. Go back to the article. Obviously, you find the article on ojambo.com. It's /generate -blender -cube -audio -animation -using -python. Quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. If you go to ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, live menu, you can see the current live stream and future post-dated live stream, the channel they're going to be on, and the approximate date and time. And also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And if you enjoy this, consider supporting me. You can purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. You can enroll in my programming courses at ojamboshop.com. You can buy my programming books on Amazon. Search for Edward Ojambo. Links in the description. You can also hire me for your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. You can also become a donor at ojambo.com/donate. The donate button is also up here in the fixed header. So I don't see a chat request, so I'm going to stop this and see you guys in the next one. Thank you.